sailed before the secret path and taught the greater 𝔻𝖗. Thy servant here is ready for thy guidance. 'Tis well, Shravaka. Prepare thyself, for thou wilt have to travel on alone. The teacher can but point the way. The path is one for all. The means to reach the goal must vary with the pilgrims. Which wilt thou choose, O thou of dauntless heart? The sanctum of thy doctrine, fourfold 𝔻𝖗, or thread thy way through 𝑃ārāmitās 6 in number, noble gates of virtue leading to Bodhi and to Prajñā, 7th step of wisdom. The rugged path of fourfold 𝔻𝖗 winds on uphill. Thrice great is he who climbs the lofty top. The 𝑃ārāmitā heights are crossed by a still steeper path. Thou hast to fight thy way through portals 7 strongholds held by cruel, crafty powers, passions incarnate. Be of good cheer, disciple. Bear in mind the golden rule. Once thou hast passed the gate Sṛta-apati, he who the stream hath entered, once thy foot hath pressed the bed of the nirvanic stream in this or any future life, thou hast but 7 other births before thee, O thou of adamantine will. Look on, what seest thou before thine eye, O aspirant to godlike wisdom? The cloak of darkness is upon the deep of matter. Within its folds I struggle. Beneath my gaze it deepens, Lord. It is dispelled beneath the waving of thy hand. A shadow moveth, creeping like the stretching serpent coils. It grows, swells out, and disappears in darkness. It is the shadow of thyself outside the path, cast on the darkness of thy sins. Yea, Lord, I see the path, its foot in mire, its summits lost in glorious light nirvanic. And now I see the ever-narrowing portals on the hard and thorny way to ജ്ഞാന. Thou seest well, Lanu, these portals lead the aspirant across the waters on to the other shore. Each portal hath a golden key that openeth its gate, and these keys are: first, Dāna, the key of charity and love immortal. Second, Shīla, the key of harmony in word and act, the key that counterbalances the cause and the effect, and leaves no further room for karmic action. Third, Kshanti, patience sweet that naught can ruffle. Fourth, Viraga, indifference to pleasure and to pain, illusion conquered, truth alone perceived. Fifth, Virya, the dauntless energy that fights its way to the supernal truth out of the mire of lies terrestrial. Sixth, Dhyāna, whose golden gate once opened leads the 𝔻𝖒𝖒𝑟 toward the realm of Sat eternal and its ceaseless contemplation. Seventh, Prajñā, the key to which makes man a god, creating him a bodhisattva, son of the dhyanis. Such to the portals are the golden keys. Before thou canst approach the last, O weaver of thy freedom, thou hast to master these 𝑃ārāmitās of perfection, the virtues transcendental 6 and 10 in number, along the weary path. For, O disciple, before thou wert made fit to meet thy teacher face to face, thy master light to light, what wert thou told? Before thou canst approach the foremost gate, thou hast to learn to part thy body from thy mind, to dissipate the shadow and to live in the eternal. For this thou hast to live and breathe in all, as all that thou perceivest breathes in thee, to feel thyself abiding in all things in self. Thou shalt not let thy senses make a playground of thy mind. Thou shalt not separate thy being from being and the rest, but merge the ocean in the drop within the ocean. So shalt thou be in full accord with all that lives. Bear love to men as though they were thy brother pupils, disciples of one teacher, the sons of one sweet mother. Of teachers there are many, the Master Soul is one, Alaya, the universal soul. Live in that Master as its ray in thee. Live in thy fellows as they live in it. Before thou standest on the threshold of the path, before thou crossest the foremost gate, thou hast to merge the two into the one and sacrifice the personal to self-impersonal, and thus destroy the path between the two, antaskarana. Thou hast to be prepared to answer Dharma, the stern law, whose voice will ask thee at thy initial step. Hast thou complied with all the rules, O thou of lofty hopes? Hast thou attuned thy heart and mind to the great mind and heart of all mankind? For as the sacred river's roaring voice, whereby all nature sounds are echoed back, so must the heart of him who in the stream would enter thrill in response to every sigh and thought of all that lives and breathes. Disciples may be likened to the strings of the soul echoing Veena, mankind unto its sounding board, the hand that sweeps it to the tuneful breath of the great world soul. The string that fails to answer neath the Master's touch in dulcet harmony with all the others breaks and is cast away. So the collective minds of Lanusravakas, they have to be attuned to the Upadhyaya's mind, one with the oversoul, or break away. Thus do the brothers of the shadow, the murderers of their souls, the dread Dārdukpa clan. Hast thou attuned thy being to humanity's great pain, O candidate for light? Thou hast, thou mayest enter. Yet ere thou settest foot upon the dreary path of sorrow, 'tis well thou shouldst first learn the pitfalls on thy way. Armed with the key of charity, of love and tender mercy, thou art secure before the gate of Dana, the gate that standeth at the entrance of the path. Behold, O happy pilgrim, the portal that faceth thee is high and wide, seems easy of access. The road that leads therethrough is straight and smooth and green. 'Tis like a sunny glade in the dark forest depths, a spot on earth mirrored from Amitabha's paradise. There nightingales of hope and birds of radiant plumage sing perched in green bowers, chanting success to fearless pilgrims. They sing of Bodhisattva's virtues 5, the fivefold source of Bodhi power, and of the 7 steps in knowledge. Pass on, for thou hast brought the key, thou art secure. And to the second gate the way is verdant too, but it is steep and winds uphill, yea, to its rocky top. Grey mists will overhang its rough and stony height, and all be dark beyond. As on he goes, the song of hope soundeth more feeble in the pilgrim's heart. The thrill of doubt is now upon him, his step less steady grows. Beware of this, O candidate, beware of fear that spreadeth like the black and soundless wings of midnight bat between the moonlight of thy soul and thy great goal that loometh in the distance far away. Fear, O disciple, kills the will and stays all action. If lacking in the Shila virtue, the pilgrim trips and karmic pebbles bruise his feet along the rocky path. Be of sure foot, O candidate, in Kshanti's essence bathe thy soul, for now thou dost approach the portal of that name, the gate of fortitude and patience. Close not thine eyes, nor lose thy sight of Dorje. Mara's arrows ever smite the man who has not reached Viraga. Beware of trembling, neath the breath of fear the key of Kshanti rusty grows, the rusty key refuseth to unlock. The more thou dost advance, the more thy feet pitfalls will meet. The path that leadeth on is lighted by one fire, the light of daring burning in the heart. everywhere. The more one dares, the more he shall obtain. The more he fears, the more that light shall pale, and that alone can guide. For as the lingering sunbeam that on the top of some tall mountain shines is followed by black night when out it fades, so is heart light. When out it goes, a dark and threatening shade will fall from thine own heart upon the path, and root thy feet in terror to the spot. Beware, disciple, of that lethal shade. No light that shines from spirit can dispel the darkness of the nether soul, unless all selfish thought has fled therefrom, and that the pilgrim saith, I have renounced this passing frame, I have destroyed the cause, the shadows cast can as effects no longer be. For now the last great fight, the final war between the higher and the lower self hath taken place. Behold, the very battlefield is now engulfed in the great war and is no more. But once that thou hast passed the gate of Kshanti, step the third is taken. Thy body is thy slave. Now for the fourth prepare, the portal of temptations which do ensnare the inner man. Ere thou canst near that goal, before thine hand is lifted to upraise the fourth gate's latch, thou must have mustered all the mental changes in thyself, and slain the army of the thought sensations that, subtle and insidious, creep unasked within the soul's bright shrine. If thou wouldst not be slain by them, then must thou harmless make thine own creations, the children of thy thoughts, unseen, impalpable, that swarm round humankind, the progeny and heirs to man and his terrestrial spoils. Thou hast to study the voidness of the seeming full, the fullness of the seeming void. O fearless aspirant, look deep within the well of thine own heart, and answer, knowest thou of self the powers, O thou perceiver of external shadows? If thou dost not, then art thou lost. For on path forth, the lightest breeze of passion or desire will stir the steady light upon the pure white walls of soul. The smallest wave of longing or regret for Maya's gifts elusive, along Antaskarana, the path that lies between thy spirit and thyself, the highway of sensations, the rude arousers of Ahankara. A thought as fleeting as the lightning flash will make thee thy 3 prizes forfeit, the prizes thou hast won. For know that the Eternal knows no change. The 8 dire miseries forsake forevermore. If not, to wisdom sure thou canst not come, nor yet to liberation, saith the great Lord, the Tathagata of perfection, he who has followed in the footsteps of his predecessors. Stern and exacting is the virtue of viraga. If thou its path wouldst master, thou must keep thy mind and thy perceptions far freer than before from killing action. Thou hast to saturate thyself with pure alaya, become as one with nature's soul thought. At one with it thou art invincible. In separation thou becomest the playground of samvriti,